Hi everyone, Sumathi Thiyagarajan, SVP Consumer Revenue and Strategy at the Milwaukee Bucks and Fiserv Forum. I'm really excited to be here today to talk with Dr. Mike Dairyko. Quick introduction on my side. Been with the Bucks for about 4 years now, essentially running the data analytics team, enterprise AI strategy, as well as our ticket operations team. Before the Bucks, I was at Marquette University working for Dr. Lovell on strategic planning, operations, analytics, and really helping the university kind of plan and stage for future years. And before that, 12 years of work across all facets of healthcare, including consulting for pharma biotech companies, as well as working at the American Medical Association on the nonprofit side, and a couple of hospital systems at University of Chicago, as well as Children's Hospital here in Wisconsin.
Hey everyone, my name is Mike Dairyko, and I'm the Senior Director of Business Strategy and Analytics for the Milwaukee Bucks. I started off in academia where I got my PhD in applied mathematics. Originally, I wanted to be a math professor, but decided to take a little bit of a U-turn and get into machine learning and data science. Right after I graduated, I was approached by a hiring manager at the Milwaukee Brewers for a really interesting job doing data science on the business side with ticketing data and customer level data. So I thought it was a great opportunity, applied, and ultimately got it. During my time at the Brewers, I also on the side was an adjunct professor at UWM for 2 semesters for a master's level data analytics course. A couple years later, I saw an opportunity at the Bucks for a little bit more of a senior role, but doing related work, and took that jump. And I've been there for about 3.5 years now. So in my current role, I oversee the day-to-day operations and management of the business strategy and analytics department, where we do everything from predictive analytics to setting the ticket prices to doing market research. And our goal is really just to provide data-driven insights and recommendations to our stakeholders and help them make informed decisions. All righty, career path. So what skills surprised you as being most important as you advanced in your career?
The skill that surprised me the most is learning that there is not one right answer. Being analytical folks, very technical and quantitative, I think very easy to, and as you kind of start early in your career, Mike, as you know, there's usually like one right answer and you're supposed to try to get to the right answer. And as I continue to mature in my career, I was starting to learn that there was a lot of middle path answers because you have to really match what the organization is looking for with the analysis. So how do you kind of figure out the multiple ways to get to a right answer with multiple right answers depending on where you want to go. So being able to assess which direction and then finding out which is the right path.
That's awesome.
How about you?
Yeah, for me, I would say early in my career, I was really focused on building the technical skills, being really good at Python, being really good at SQL and things like that. However, as I've transitioned to more of a leadership role, it's really looking back and being those skills that are deemed as soft are actually the ones that are really important. So communication is really important, especially if you have a machine learning model output, you want your stakeholder to buy into it. If you can't articulate the value of it, then it's going to be worthless.
Yeah.
So just in general, some of those more soft skills.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And I do feel like you do a great job with that, Bucks, where we talk about using machine learning models, where we're talking about ticket prices, how do you make it really applicable to our business? All very true. So the technology stuff kind of sits next to a bunch of really important skills.
What does digital transformation look like to you? How does your organization support that idea?
So at the Bucks, we really have taken the approach of digital transformation, of using technology and digital tools to help us run our business better and really kind of meet the consumer where the consumer is at. So I think the way we've kind of looked at it is we have lots of tools, lots of resources, lots of people with great capabilities, but how can we now do things at scale, at large scale, and also given the nature of sports, how fast it goes, how do we meet people really quickly where they're at. We do have a couple of really fun projects in the works, as you know, but right now, digital transformation for us is so much about the channels within which we reach people, the data we use to get to know them, be really highly personalized, and so it's kind of a fun way of using data to really help people.
Thanks. Yeah, for me, I think digital transformation at a company level is really when the company embraces technology and really embeds it into like the fabric of like what goes on. And it's not just about like the adaptation of tools, but really just how can we utilize technology to revolutionize and be really innovative. I personally think the Bucks do a really good job of doing this. We have invested in our business strategy and analytics department. Back when I started, we were down to 3 people, and now we're up to 8. And it's so fun to see that. And we utilize machine learning, we utilize generative AI, we utilize all these really fascinating things that are out here. And it's just been really, really fun to be a part of.
On the next. Okay. The term Smallwaukee is often used to describe the phenomenon that is Milwaukee. Despite being a major city, has a small town feel where everyone seems to know everyone. What is your Smallwaukee experience?
For me, my favorite Smallwaukee experience was when I was at the Brewers. I had a coworker who was really excited about buying a condo downtown. And a couple weeks later, he came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm closing on the condo." And it's actually in the same building as me. It was 1 floor under and 1 unit over. So from our balconies, we would like wave down at each other and say, "Oh, hey neighbor, how's it going?" So Milwaukee's a really small world.
I love that. Mine is also similar. When I started at the Bucks, my desk mate right across from me turned out his father-in-law was my dentist. And then also the dentist was a good partner of one of my husband's practice. So it was a very small world where when I went into the dentist, he was like, "Oh, my son-in-law works there." And I was like, "Oh, he sits right across from me."
Let's do it. What's something you had to unlearn as you moved into more senior roles?
So something I had to unlearn as I got more senior in my role is, there are several different ways to lead different types of people. And once you're kind of with the same cohort of people, you start to kind of lead them all similarly. And so what I needed to really learn was like meeting people where they're at. I generally am an extrovert. When I started leading people who were introverts, I found myself being like, okay, how do I coach someone who's introverted? Very quantitative. And then when I started meeting people who are less quantitative and I had to coach them, how do you coach those folks? So really something I had to unlearn was that there's kind of one right way of leading and only one way of leading, but how to really personalize leadership to each person. How about you?
Yeah, for me, I think early in my role early in my career when I was an individual contributor, I was really focused on being like very deep into the weeds, and that's what you're encouraged to do in all your projects. But as I shifted to more of a leadership role, especially managing multiple people, that's when I realized that being so far into the weeds of my own projects and that of everyone on my team is like not sustainable. And it was really causing me to like burn out a little bit. So it's really just shifting that frame of thinking into like, what is a good leader, right? A good leader isn't someone who is always in the weeds alongside the team. It's really someone who can take a step back and see the forest from the trees and really like direct the work to make sure that we're going in the right direction that's going to be beneficial to the organization as well.
Love it. Awesome. One more? Leadership? You want to do it? Okay. Reach. Okay. How do you foster a culture of innovation in your organization? How does that contribute to the tech ecosystem in Milwaukee?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, I think fostering innovation at the Bucks is really about driving curiosity. So with my team specifically, how can you be curious and how can you use your curiosity to help dive deeper into the data, understand the trends a little bit more? But specifically for me, I am constantly talking with industry peers and also peers outside of our industry to really understand how they're using technology and machine learning and analytics to drive and solve business problems from themselves. Then how can I take that and apply those learnings to the Bucks? Yeah. And I think this helps in general for the overall Milwaukee tech ecosystem, because as we are utilizing technology in new and innovative ways, we're showing other people what they can do as well.
Yeah, I'm remembering our kind of culture motto for our team, right? Which is place, where we're grounded in place. You plan ahead, you love learning and growing, adversity is expected, communicate frequently, and effort matters, right? So I think for us, innovation comes in very much, as you said, the curiosity piece, being hungry, wanting to learn more. We also are really lucky in the NBA because we As we say, we compete on the court, but we collaborate off of it. So we're often talking to many of our peers across the league, as well as many other sports industry folks. And I think we've even taken a step further in terms of innovation, trying to create we're convening our first business strategy and analytics regional conference here at Fiserv Forum, where we're going to have 9 teams come in, and we're going to keep sharing best practices and learn from each other. And I think the way that this helps our tech ecosystem, again, is continuing to put Milwaukee on the map in terms of how much we think forward, look forward, and really can create kind of like a hub of knowledge and a center of excellence around using data, analytics, and technology for any business, not just the sports industry, but for anything across the region. Okay, last question, what's next? What role do you see yourself or your company playing in shaping Milwaukee's tech future?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me personally, I consider myself playing like an active role in helping shape the tech future. I have an academic background. I'm still really close to academia in the local Milwaukee universities and colleges. I've been invited a handful of times this year already to go give talks to students, to do panels, and really just give advice on how you can prepare for a tech-based role and be successful. And also on the other side, it's really talking with instructors and professors about curriculum. So having some influence on what does the next generation of data analytics curriculum look like, data science curriculum. It's been really fun to really be at the beginning part of the talent pipeline.
No, for sure. And I mean, you personally, I know that you play a very critical role for our company and how we will continue to grow our technical capabilities. So the role we both will play is we'll continue to help the Bucks be on the forefront of how we use data and analytics to make the best possible decisions, or at least the most informed decisions we can make, finding that middle path. And I think the way that the Bucks have really helped the Milwaukee tech ecosystem is, one, trying to be innovative in everything that we do, as well as sharing, right? I think we are really big about you taking a bigger role in terms of helping academic talent pipelines. We try to do as many kind of conversations we can with other members within the Milwaukee community, and really just wanting to know that we don't have to build things from scratch. We can all continue to amplify each other's work.